Well, for more on this analysis with me is Hyde. Hyde, he is a research fellow at Chatham House here in London. What do you believe is the government strategy here?
It has been clear, basically taking into consideration the level of destruction and the number of casualties, that what the regime is trying to do is to repeat what happened in eastern Aleppo, where they increased their basically shelling and airstrikes until people there submitted to allowing the regime to take over.
And what will happen to the rebel forces?
What happened in Aleppo before was they were forced to leave, and many civilians left with them because they didn't trust that they will be safe staying in those areas controlled by the regime. Most likely, we will be looking at something similar. The Russian foreign minister yesterday said that what happened in Aleppo will be repeated in Ghouta, and most likely that is the strategy they are basically pursuing right now.
But they believe that there are militant forces there that they have to get rid of.
Yeah, but the strategy right now is not to basically take over militarily the area, because they cannot. The area has been besieged for 4 years. There are many different groups who are fighting there, and they're able to defend their area. And this is why the strategy right now is not to gain or at least take over militarily, but to make the situation there as miserable as possible. So civilians will have to basically force rebel forces there to submit to the regime and allow the regime to take over.
But do the civilians have the power to do that?
Well, they don't have the power, but they don't also have any other choice, because they, as your guest said, many of them are dying on a daily basis. There is no place to, basically, safe place to go to, and they cannot leave the area because there is no safe passages, but also because they don't trust the regime who is waiting for them on the other side.
What is the role of the Russians?
The Russians, for a few months before, have been trying to broker a de-escalation zone in that area that prevents the regime and the rebel groups from fighting each other. But it seems that the Russians have changed their priority right now, and they are basically in favor of allowing the regime to take over that part of Syria. And this is why they have been able to allow him to do that, but also they have been able to provide him with air support. That will make basically that strategy successful in the near future.
What about the US and other international countries? Have they said anything, or do you expect anyone to intervene here?
It has been a few years now that the international community has not been trying to really make any real threats that will allow basically the situation there to change. The regime knows that no matter what happens on the ground in Syria, the international community will not intervene. The US made it clear that their priority is not the regime, not the civilians, but to fight ISIS. The international community for a long time has been saying that this is not acceptable, but we cannot do anything to change it. And unfortunately, it seems that the regime will continue to use that with immunity in order to be able to capture that area, with the world just watching all the civilians being killed.
Hyde, thank you very much.